Welcome back to DaBoot Tragedies. Some unfortunate news out of New Orleans. The Pelicans, man, Zion Williamson is injured with a hamstring injury. Came in the Philadelphia game against the 76ers. Came up limping, I think in the third quarter, I believe. Went to the locker room, didn't come out to start the fourth, which he usually does. And it came out that he has a hamstring injury. Now, obviously, Zion's injury history is already questionable and things like that. So I can understand how some people are going to be like, oh, here we go again. He's out for another 3 weeks, maybe longer. But this one's a little different. This is a soft tissue injury. Nothing you can really do about that. Off-season stuff, you can get stronger. You can strengthen these things. But, I mean, when the hamstring goes, the hamstring goes. It doesn't matter how good of shape you in or anything like that. It's just a soft tissue injury, and these things happen. It's very unfortunate for Zion because he was on a roll. He was on an absolutely roll, tearing up the league, was going crazy. 30 points a night, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, was just playing great, super efficient from the field. So this injury is obviously gonna, set him back a little bit. He was carrying the load for the Pelicans too. Maybe that's part of it. His body, this is his first season having like a real full season under his belt, and he was asked to do a lot. Especially with Brandon Ingram out. So maybe, carrying that load, putting that stress on his body, maybe that's part of, the reason he's injured right now. But it is what it is, man. Pelicans are going to have to adjust. Zion's going to have to get healthy. I'm just glad it's not a major injury. Obviously, a torn meniscus or a broken foot or anything like that, that's major injury. It's a hamstring. That's not a major injury. It's a tricky injury, but it's not a major injury. And it's in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be something minor. I also understand the people that's saying, here we go again. Like I said, I get it. He's been hurt a lot in his NBA career. So if you're one of those people, I get it. I'm just telling you, this one's different. Hamstring injury is not the biggest concern in the world. It's just a strained hamstring. They said 3 weeks. It could be quicker. It could be, more time than that. Hamstrings are very tricky. See, Bradley Beal is a prime example of these hamstring injuries. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury basically all season. He came back last night, ironically, and he had to leave the game with a hamstring injury. One thing I can tell the Pelicans, and I'm sure they know, if that hamstring is not 100%, do not put him out there, especially with the explosion he plays with, the intensity he plays with. Do not put him out there if that hamstring is not 100%. That's the easiest. That and your ankle is the easiest body parts to re-aggravate. And I promise you, if he's not 100% and he goes out there trying to play the way he plays, he's going to get re-injured. He's going to re-injure that hamstring. So take your time. You're in a good spot right now in the West. You're not struggling for wins. Hopefully Brandon Ingram's on the way back. And take your time, get healthy, get 100%, more than 100%, then bring Zion back. But what's next for the Pelicans, man? Hopefully the first step is to get Brandon Ingram back. That'll obviously help a lot in this situation. If Zion's hurt, Zion's out, you need to get Brandon Ingram back. You get CJ, you get Brandon Ingram, you get the rest of those guys, you'll still be a very competitive team. The Pelicans are 5-2 without Zion this year. So you need to get Brandon Ingram back. That doesn't mean rush Brandon Ingram back. If he's still a week away, he's just a week away. You're just going to have to make do with what you got. So don't rush Brandon Ingram back just because Zion's out. But when Brandon Ingram comes back, obviously that'll help. That'll take the load off some of these guys. But the other guys are more than capable of stepping up. More than capable. Obviously, you still have CJ. It's his time to lead the team. It's his time to go get the stats. It's his time to go get the numbers. And he's more than capable of doing that. I just said that in my last Pelicans video, that he was brought here to be the third option. But if need be, he can take over games. So for at least probably a 2-week period, it's going to have to be CJ's team. He's going to have to take over. He's going to have to play amazing in these 2 weeks for the Pelicans to be, successful and competitive. Also, you got other guys that are more than capable. Valanciunas, he can be a 20-10 guy. He's going to have to step up and be that 20-10 guy. He's going to have to be that guy. We've seen it in spurts this year. We've seen it in games where he's played great. He's going to have to do that, especially while Zion's out, especially while B.I.'s out. Also, Jose Alvarado, he's going to have to step up. Trey Murphy, he's going to have to step up. Najee Marshall, it's time to step up. Herb Jones, same thing. All these guys are capable of playing great, playing well. They're just going to all have to do it basically in a collective effort. Collective effort to replace Zion, to replace those stats, to replace those points, replace that offensive production. And those guys are more than capable enough of replacing Zion's production. As a team, as a unit, obviously not one person is going to come in and replace his production. Nobody on this team is that good. Nobody on this roster is that good. But it's a collective unit. They can all do it. It's a blow. Definitely a blow to a lot of things on the team. Honestly, the Pelicans' chance at number one in the West takes a hit. We don't know that yet because they haven't played a game. But if you just, without Brandon Ingram, without Zion, it's going to be harder to win games. Obviously, winning games is still possible. But without two of your best players, obviously, it's going to be definitely harder. So that number one seed in the West is going to come. It's going to be a struggle. Maybe they could survive these, 3 weeks without him. Maybe B.I. comes back sooner and it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, missing Zion, missing B.I., that's going to be tough. They're sitting at number 3 right now, only one game back of the first seed. Maybe they go 500. Maybe they go, better. Maybe they go worse during this stretch without Z. But we'll have to see. That definitely is going to take a hit on that. Number 2, another thing is going to take a hit, man. Willie Green, Coach of the Year. Obviously, he's in a running. You got the Pelicans sitting at the top of the West. You're gonna be in Coach of the Year talks. That's still possible for him. This is like probably the most meaningless one out of all. Because Coach of the Year, no one really cares about Coach of the Year. You want to get to the playoffs and do well. But it's still nice. It's still nice to have. He's still in the running. I think he'll still be in the running even if the Pelicans finish, second, third, fourth in the West. He's put together a great season for the Pelicans. But this is probably gonna take a hit with the injuries, or it can help. I haven't even thought about that side. It can help Willie Green if he comes out and he just, runs off another streak. They start winning games. They go 6-1, 7-1 without Zion, without B.I. or something like that. That can definitely help. All these injuries, and you still can come out there and win games, still be competitive for that number 1 seed in the West. That'll obviously help his case. Like I said, this one isn't that, meaningful. This is kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of things. But it'll still be nice to see, Willie Green in those running for Coach of the Year. And lastly, another one that's kind of meaningless, but also would have been fun to just follow and watch, Zion MVP. I said he was in the top 10, which I still believe he was at the time, but this hamstring injury is probably going to derail that. The old saying, out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. If you're not playing, it's going to be tough for you to win. He's probably going to end up playing 50-plus games this year. He's on pace for 50-plus. He's already missed a couple games this year. This one he's going to miss, a couple more games, maybe about 10 or so. Who knows how many he's going to miss. That's going to put him at maybe 60. But I'm going to just assume he's going to miss a couple more when he comes back just for rest, just for injury management type thing. So he'll play 50-plus games, and that's just probably not going to be enough for you to, win an MVP. Those guys are going to have to play 60-plus games, close to 70 on a normal basis. So that MVP run is probably over, but you never know. He can come out and just start averaging 35 a game, going crazy once again. Who knows how that'll play out. But it would have been nice to, have him in the thick of things in that MVP race with the Pelicans as the number 1 seed, and he's putting up crazy numbers. But that's probably not going to happen this season. And that doesn't really matter because, he's going to have 10-plus seasons to do that. He's going to be around this league for a long time, playing great. So, missing out on the MVP this year in his first, full year of really playing, wow. Can't really be mad at that. But, man, would have been nice to see him, going for it. That's really it, man. The Pelicans are going to have to adjust. They're going to have to bounce back from these injuries. Going to have to get over these injuries. Everybody's going to have to step up. Like I said, it's going to have to be a collective effort, team effort, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes with the Pels, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. As always, this is DaBoot Tragedies, and I'm out.
Ain't no walking out. Come here. Slap